Jamal Murray avoided suspension as the NBA fined him $100K for tossing a towel and heat pack onto the court in the direction of a game official. This was during live play in the Nuggets Game 2 loss against the Timberwolves.
It is what it is, and I take everything full responsibility, so on to the next.
Was it just your frustration boiled over? Is that what happened?
Yeah, on to the next. I mean, there's not much, 2 days ago, not much for me to say about it right now.
Were there any conversations that you had with people or anything just to kind of like apologize or whatever, maybe take responsibility?
Do you have any basketball questions? No.
All right, that was Murray speaking for the first time since the punishment was levied. Jay, I want to start with you. Do you have a problem with his comments?
Yeah, because I thought he was extremely he showed no contrition. And it was, look, there was a sense of entitlement there where you just wish that if Jamal Murray had just addressed the issue by saying, I'm wrong, this is what I learned from it, I'm ready to move on to the next, I think he would have did it the entire conversation. But I do want to, I want to give onus to something else because I think the NBA missed the mark here. So I do have a problem with the way Jamal Murray answered the question, but I also have a bigger problem with the way the NBA addressed it. So he got a $100,000 fine. And almost I feel like that answer was a privileged answer to a degree because he knew I'm playing regardless. I know what this fine is. I'm fine, right? So Rudy Gobert, a month ago on March 11th, for doing the money sign to Scott Foster, he got a $100,000 fine and a tech. So automatically we're saying those two things are the same because Jamal Murray did the money sign to the ref. Now add into the fact that he threw the towel on the floor and then add into the fact on top of that. Now the third strike, he throws the heat pack on the floor. So to me, I feel like the NBA really missed the mark. He should have been suspended. And I think those comments just showcase that he really wasn't reprimanded the way he should have been reprimanded. And I think that's a really unfortunate thing for the league from a representation perspective.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm not going to lie, though. When I first thought about the situation and I heard, oh, well, the refs said they missed it. They said it would have been a technical foul. So he shouldn't be suspended because it just would have been a technical foul. But when you add up all the things that would have been technical fouls, Jay, you're right. Like, it should have led to a suspension. And when you say, I take full responsibility, on to the next, that is something that is said by someone that takes no responsibility for what happened. When you're that dismissive.
It's like Bill Belichick at a press conference.
For him to gaslight the reporters that didn't get to ask him anything post-game because he didn't do media post-game. So, yes, it was 2 days ago, but this is your first opportunity to stand on it. For me, what stood out was he looked just as confused, disoriented, out of sorts in that sitting down with media as he did on the court. He's just lost all control of what he is trying to do. It would have been so much better had he just stood on it, acknowledged it, said what he's going to do better, and then it would have put him and his team in a better position because the Timberwolves are looking at him like, oh, he's still out of sorts. Look what's going on.
Yeah, my first reaction when I saw the play is I was very mad because when you throw a heat pack on the floor during live action, someone could have gotten injured. And then I saw the number of other things that he did, throwing the towel, and then also the money sign. So clearly he was throwing tantrums. So I was not happy with that. But after, taking some time to listen to some of the dialogue behind the scenes, people were like, okay, have we seen this from Jamal Murray before? And people were like, no, we should not. They're grouping this as one offense instead of it listing it as a list where it was 3. So when the league came out, and I think they also understand the circumstances in which a Jamal Murray does not play, that could completely dictate and alter the series, and I don't know if that's the heat that you want. This is the first time that the Denver Nuggets are truly in the danger zone. They're down 0-2. The last 2 years, they've been front runners. They won a championship. They've been confident, but you've seen a little bit of deterioration in this postseason. Versus the Lakers, I mean, they were playing from behind, and they were so good to be able to outperform that because the Lakers, their offense was problematic. This is a Timberwolves team where their offense is peaking, where their defense is on point. And so they're going up against a team, and now we're starting to see their character be revealed. We'll see a lot in Game 3, but what we saw in this press conference was just another indication of, hey, you should have learned that you escaped with the ability to play in this game and change the course of the series. And instead, we're seeing a little bit more to Jamal Murray's character and saying, you know what, I'm good. That's a little bit, and you said the word, before, Jay Will, a little bit privileged in this instance because you got away with being able to play.
I don't use this word often on television, but I'm pretty pissed off at Jamal Murray. All of y'all are absolutely right, but especially Jay using the word entitled, privileged. Let's call it what it is. That's not something black men get to have associated with quite often. So when you are in that position, how about being mindful and cognizant of it? How about recognizing the fact that we've lamented historically the privileged and entitled position that others who don't look like us have had at their disposal? And to make sure that when we have it, we don't act like that. You're Jamal Murray. You are a champion. You are a great player. How many times have we lamented the fact that this man is not an all-star and he deserves to be? How many times have we pointed out his exploits in the bubble when him and Donovan Mitchell were going at it when Denver was playing Utah and both of them were dropping 50 on each other and all of this other stuff that we saw Jamal Murray's coming out party? We remembered when he was at Kentucky and what a sniper he was when he was playing at the University of Kentucky. We've seen the great things that Jamal Murray has done in his career. He hasn't had a blemish at all. Nothing. And then you have one bad night. And why is this a subject years later? Because you weren't man enough to own it. Something that simple. Literally. I understood why he didn't talk to the media that night. Because why bring even more attention before a decision is made? Let me duck away from all of this, see what the league is going to do, and then after that, I'll speak. You come out, Jamal Murray, man, I messed up. That's out of character. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm known to be. I want to apologize to everybody. That's not how I roll. It will never happen again. Very, very simple. But no, we can't do that. We got to sit up there and we got to act like that. Then you got the nerve to look at the reporter and say, is there a basketball question? It is basketball. It happened during the game, on the court, while Minnesota was kicking your ass. That's when all of this happened. It's about basketball. They didn't ask you about your relationship. They didn't ask you about your family. They didn't ask you about something that happened off the court. This was literally a basketball question because you literally did this with 19, 20,000 people in the arena and millions watching on television while you were getting your ass kicked. And you're going to come at somebody like they have the audacity to ask you that question? Now that's what Jamal Murray is known for because of how he chose to handle it. And on a bigger level, we see this with a lot of cats. Right, wrong, or otherwise. Hell, I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot of times. I'm going to explain my position, explain myself. I'm going to own what I think I should own. I'm going to fight what I think I should fight. And I'm going to live with the consequences. What I'm not going to do is duck a question that's relevant to something that you actually did that could have endangered one of your contemporaries. That's what he did. And the last point is this. It ain't just him that's got the proverbial eyebrows raised. It is also a great commissioner in Adam Silver, because now we're looking at you and people are bringing up the predecessor, David Stern, because they know that Jamal Murray would not have even had to think about it. His ass would have been suspended. He'd have been gone. He'd have been up out of there, okay? So now Adam, through the kindness of his heart, recognizing this is the postseason, you don't want them saying we didn't have a chance to come back from an 0-2 deficit because you suspended Jamal Murray. He does that, and all he needs Jamal Murray to do is come out, mea culpa, own it, move on. And instead, you are that flagrantly dismissive. We look now and say, Commissioner, maybe you need to be harder. Jamal Murray, all your greatness, you're a champion, big-time closer, all of this other stuff. Now you got this associated to your name because you couldn't come out for 3 damn minutes and say, my bad, I owned it. You couldn't even do that. It's just stupid.
The fact that he didn't answer the questions, he didn't want to acknowledge it with his words and acknowledge it by taking full accountability and standing on it and speaking on it, he could get asked about it again. So now it's become
Andre,
a longer, drawn-out problem.
Andre, actually, it's a worse scenario than that. He doesn't have to get asked the question because of the flippant answer he gave. You are talking, forget the commentator that's Stephen A. What about the columnist that was Stephen A?
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have to ask you a damn thing.
Yeah.
I get to defer to what I saw, to use that to characterize you any way I want, anytime I want, because you were flippant and dismissive with answering a simple damn question you knew you were culpable and guilty for. It's about ownership, as Jay was pointing out. 3 minutes. That's all he had to give. 3 minutes.
You know what's
Yo,
crazy?
my bad. It won't happen again. That was very uncharacteristic of me. I got to own that. Love Jamal Murray. How could you do this to your reputation and your character? That's why I'm pissed, because I know he's better than that. Why would you do this to your name? Why?
Stephen A., you're exactly right. Self-inflicted wound here more than anything. And here's why I will say, in the span of 48 hours, we've gone from talking about Jamal Murray being one of the best closers in basketball.
That's right.
To now talking about this, and also as somebody that pays attention to the game, and I heard you lament about it the other day, now I have visions of like guys like Jaden McDaniels in slow-mo clapping.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, okay, come on, Jamal, you ain't, even with the injury, Anthony Edwards, do you look up to him? He's 27. I ain't looking up to that. Like, it's all these things now make me start to look at Jamal Murray very differently in a span of 2 days.
Yep.
Crazy.
All right.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them down, try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm a